Wine Library TV. I am your host, Gary Bay, Chuck. And this, my friends, is the Thunder Show, aka the internet's most passionate wine program. And I'm here live on the Thunder Cruise. We have 4 fantastic bottles of wine. People from Germany were running through the entire ship to get this. Let's hear it. To get this in. We have 2 zins here, a sparkling wine, and a Côtes du Rhône. Thank you very much. Stand up, Carlos, right here. Côtes du Rhône. He gave us a $70 bottle of wine for the Thunder Show. Give it up for him. Diva, 2000 sparkling wine from Napa Valley. I really don't know the price, and I have no idea about the blend. But we'll look it up. So we're starting with sparkling wine. We just had a champagne toast, which was a lot of fun. This is a 2000 vintage sparkling wine. It comes from S. Anderson and Clive Ledet, and so Clive Ledet is making some really interesting wines out of Stag's Leap. And I'm going to assume this is a Chardonnay-based sparkling wine. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. So right off the bat on the nose, this wine smells like the inside of a helium balloon. It's got that plastic style thing going on. We had this the other day in one of our seminars. This is a little more subtle than that was. There's also a little hint of almost like a star fruit component on the back end of the nose. How many people in this room have had star fruit? Make some noise. How many people have not? Great. You can't find star fruit? I understand. All right, can you back to it? Shh. Let's give it a whirl. Good acidity, kind of. So, as many of you know, sparkling wine is probably my favorite type of wine. If I only had to be relegated to just one style, red, white, rosé, sparkling, dessert, that sort of thing in there, it would definitely be sparkling wine. I consume it quite often, leisurely. I don't know why that made me think of Leisure Suit Larry. Remember that video? This sparkling wine is atrocious. Very hot on the back end, completely off balance. Really, it just feels like somebody took 47 Gillette razors and stuck them directly in my mouth and then punched me in the mouth. I'm very upset. It's off balance, awkward. I wouldn't spend $4 on this wine, and I think it's probably in the 20s or 30s. Barely any fruit, no complexity, no yeastiness, no bread-like characters. Really not much other than anger, and that's upsetting. And like most divas, this needs to be kicked to the curb. I'm scoring this wine 67 points. Sorry, really bad. Let's move on. Dash, 2007, Dry Creek Valley Zinfandel. This wine rolls in the mid-20s. Dash has been really a producer of really good zins. We have 2 zins here today. I'm a big fan of red Zinfandels. How many people out there are fans of red zins? Make some noise. And how many people out there would say they're not that into red zins? Make some noise. Pretty popular with this crowd. Spiciness, It's a category of wine that really has made its name over the last 12 to 15 years because of the Thanksgiving play in the U.S. It's a wine that constantly gets referred to as a perfect pairing for turkey. But I think it's much more than that. And in the late 90s, and Bobby, you'll remember this, Zins took over. I mean, they were on fire because of Turley Zin and Martinelli and Zins like that. And it became a very big category. It also became a race of alcohol content. The alcohol content got through the roof, and people started putting out consistently high 15s, even 16% Zinfandels. This one rolls in at 14.5. My guess is it's probably a little bit higher because you've got a little room to play and you pay taxes on your alcohol percentage, and why would you claim you have more when you can save a couple of bucks? So please always assume your wines have a little more alcohol in them. What do you guys think about that? Yeah! Let's give it a sniffy sniff. Good red fruit, really like a quick attack of like cranberry on the nose. A little tight. I wouldn't call it completely aromatically challenged, but it is definitely not the most aromatic wine I've ever seen, or smelled, or seen. Little mint kind of thing, believe it or not, going on. Something that I'm more accustomed to seeing in Cabernet-based wines coming through on this Zin. Little chocolate, little like, just like a little shred of dark chocolate, mid-60s Cocoa Count style. Let's give it a whirl. Not bad. Pretty rich, very meaty. Definitely like a gamey meatiness. I feel like I've eaten some raw meat. I feel, I wouldn't say it's as gamey as like shooting a deer on the highway and biting it kind of thing, but it's definitely got some gaminess to it, almost like cured meats, and I like that about this wine. Great depth, a little hot for my palate on the back end, just a little hint, almost like I drank this and just took a little nip of a smeared off plastic, But nonetheless, pretty balanced and good elegance. A little bit better than the last 4 or 5 vintages of Dash that I've had, so that makes me kind of optimistic. Dry Creek, a very serious place to make Zinfandel. Definitely the thing that they should be sticking to in that part of California. This wine has 3 to 7 years cellaring in it. A perfect wine to pair with gamier birds like pigeon, maybe partridge. Anybody have some partridge in their lives in here? Very few. Huge mistake. I'm gonna give it one more shot. I really like it. Very good stuff. Very well made and wow, really quite balanced. Great length on a finish. This is what a good Zin can do. If anything, the shortcomings are the alcohol on the back end and just maybe a tad one-dimensional. A couple different flavors. Sometimes on the more serious Zins, the ones I really get stoked about, if I can use that word, have a little more second, third tier flavor profiles. But this wine is a textbook quality Dry Creek Zin. I'm going to score this wine 90 points. And I would recommend people, whoa, got excited there. I would recommend people going out and buying this wine. This is a very gamey, meaty kind of Zinfandel. And if you're a fan of that style, I think you'll like this wine. Good job, Dash. Let's move on. Yeah, one person clapping for Dash. Titus! Wow. Clearly there's somebody from Titus on the boat. Titus 2006 Napa Zin, 15% alcohol content, 27 bones. Again, assume slightly higher in alcohol. Let's give it a little rinsey rinse. And snippy snip. This wine is even more aromatically challenged than the last wine. Very tight on the nose. Doesn't mean anything. No brouhaha needed. Dark blackberry flavor starting to subtly come through the nose. Still, it's tight. Let's give it a whirl. pure fruit, definitely off balance because of the alcohol. Definitely. I feel like the wine is disjointed on the back end. The heat is predominant. It's taken over. It even sneaks into the third quarter. Give it one more shot. The fruit is very flush and pure. What year is this? 06? This is the kind of style of the zinfandel that my palate does not agree with. It's a little fluffy, and what that means for me is that there's a lot of fruit, but there's a lot of nothing else going on, and that's a problem. I like the blackberry jam. I like the subtle black pepper that's going on in the mid palate, and then it transitions to nothing but Puff the Magic Dragon. Fire in my face, and it makes me scared. I feel like this wine has the potential because of the pedigree of the winery, and that's what I'm going on because, 1994 Zin, for example, from Titus, one of my favorite wines of all time, to get better. But you know what? For me, this wine is not showing super well. I think it's disjointed. I think there's way too much alcohol in the backdrop. Comparing it to the Dash, I think there's really no comparison. And I feel like this wine falls fairly short. I think it's very overpriced at $27. I'm going to score the wine 81 points. See, you guys think it's so cool to do this. It's not fun sometimes. Okay, let's move on. Can we? Now let's talk about Côtes Rôti. Côtes Rôti. How many people in the room have had Côtes Rôti? How many have not? Expanding palates. Côtes Rôti, 500 or so acres in the Rhone Valley. Predominantly, it's a Syrah-based wine. It is allowed up to 20% of Viognier, the white wine. If you remember the other day, we did a Viognier Shiraz blend from Australia. That was only 5%. In Côtes Rôti, it's allowed up to 20%. Most don't go there. This has 2% on the Domaine Gilles Barge 2000 Côtes Rôti Cuvée du Plaisir. Zoomy zoom, Carlos. This wine rolls in at $70 US. And if anybody in the crowd knows who wears number 70 on the New York Jets, I will give them $4,000. Go.
Nobody.
Incorrect. The correct answer is Mike DeVito. All right, just saying. Well, geez, I was there for you. Okay, for the trip. Okay, next year. Okay, for 4 years. All right. Let's give this to Smith. The color on this wine is quite cloudy. You're starting to see some of the age. One thing you'll notice is wine's age. They start getting a little orange tint around the color, maybe a little brownish action. Let's give it a sniffy sniff. The Poop Patrol has made an appearance. This wine has significant barnyard characteristics on the nose, a little manure action, black pepper, and a little green pepper action on the nose. Very, very herbaceous, earthy, and clearly somebody stepped in some poop on this cruise. It's also quite smoky. Some people have been hanging out in the smoker lounge. It's got a little bit of that kind of action, but not tobacco smoke or cigarette smoke, more like chimney smoke. Like Santa got his ass stuck in there and you can't get the smoke out. It keeps coming back into your home. That's what I'm smelling on this wine. Let's give it a whirl. Now, 2000, not considered one of the great years, and I'm telling you something, this wine's struggling to show as well. This is pretty disjointed as well. Côtes Rôti has one of the best records on WineLibraryTV. I'm a huge fan of it, but this wine's starting to get a little muddied and cloudy. It's like that cloudy day when it doesn't rain or anything else, and you're just like, come on, do something. That's kind of like this wine. It's kind of half pregnant. It seems like it wants to be a Côtes Rôti, but then it says, but I'm not good enough. And you know what? There's not enough encouragement that I can give it right now to really push it through. It's over. It's been farmed. I'm gonna give it one more shot. Yeah. I would say that 95% of people that would taste this wine would probably not like it because the finish is borderline brutal. I don't like this wine. I'm going to score this wine 76 points and give it a major pass. And at 70 bones, I'm really struggling with it. Now what I'm going to do is pull a Mr. Burns and put a puff, smoke, and then disappear so nobody gets upset with me. Question of the day, very simply, is this: why do these wines suck so bad? What has been the most disappointing wine that you've had in the last 30 days? You, with a little bit of me, we're changing the wine world, whether they like it or not. That sucks.